But going on to the other team in the division, it's the Cleveland Browns, no longer a joke. Made the playoffs last year, beat Pittsburgh in round one, and almost beat Kansas City and Chad Henne, but unfortunately they didn't. In terms of losses, lost defensive lineman Sheldon Richardson, defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi, edge guy Olivier Vernon, and safety Carl Joseph. I believe Olivier Vernon, I think he tore his Achilles or something, I believe, so that's why they let him go. I'm not 100% sure on that. Have additions, though. Brought in Jadeveon Clowney, Tack McKinley, defensive lineman Malik Jackson. I think that was an underrated signing. Cornerback Troy Hill from the Rams also brought in. I think we both like the signing. Safety John Johnson to help anchor that defense. And then draft-wise, it seems like they do it every draft, and hopefully they start hitting. Cornerback Greg Newsome in the first round at 26, and then a linebacker who I really wanted and loved, Jeremiah Wosu-Koromoa at 52, who I think I mentioned last podcast. He has been popping in the preseason as well. So, John, this year, Cleveland, they took the step. They won the playoffs last year. Can they win the division this year? And, can they finally be taken seriously, I guess? Or is it a fluke last year?
I think they should be taken seriously. I think anybody who's sleeping on the Cleveland Browns is a fool. I think that the Browns are, just to put it plainly, they have one of the best rosters in the entire league, just across the board. I really like the Jadeveon Clowney signing because it's a really low risk deal, but it's potentially a really high reward, putting him opposite of Myles Garrett. He's obviously very versatile. We've seen him play linebacker. We've seen him play edge rusher. I've heard talks that he's beefed up a little bit, so maybe they can even throw him inside a little bit. We know they did that with Myles Garrett a lot last year. So I think that just gives them another versatile piece to use. Obviously, Tack McKinley, another guy just like that, very versatile. Maybe if they do throw one of those guys on the inside for some of those snaps, you can throw Tack on the outside then. I really like John Johnson. That was a really solid, underrated signing. He's been one of the more underrated safeties in the league for a long time. Very solid, very consistent for the Rams. And so I think he just provides them, that stability on the back end. Denzel Ward's a beast at corner. Like you said, they draft a lot of corners, over and over and over. So, Justin Gilbert, he didn't work out. Denzel Ward has. Greedy Williams, we don't really know what he is yet. Now Greg Newsome. But overall, they have a lot of talent at corner. It's just, can the guys behind Denzel Ward put it together and live up to the potential that we think they can. And then we thought that they needed to address offensive line or D tackle. Or sorry, not offensive line, linebacker or D tackle. And they went out, they got the guy that we both really liked, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. He's a beast. Still don't really know why he dropped. I think there was that health issue.
Heart condition that worried teams, and like his size. They're worried because he's like 230, like 220. He's pretty kind of size for a linebacker. But then I think once they saw him, like, dude, this dude's like pure muscle.
Yeah. So I like that addition. I really like what they added. I didn't think they lost a ton. They lost Carl Joseph, but they upgraded with John Johnson. They lost Olivier Vernon, but I think they upgraded with Jadeveon Clowney. They lost the two D-line guys, and they didn't really fully address that a ton. But Malik Jackson, he's solid. He can give you a replacement. And I think they have some young guys.
They probably do. Again, it's tough. Like interior defensive lineman, offensive lineman. Like, it's just a lot of teams just bring guys up from their own, system. So
yeah, like the interior line is one of those spots that, like, tons of teams draft like third, fourth, fifth, sixth round guys, and you have them for a few years, and then they sort of start to come into your team a few years later. It's never really one of those positions where guys just instantly pop. I know they got my guy Andrew Billings from Baylor. He was a 20-year-old when he got drafted. I think he's projected to be a starter along the defensive line. He's pretty decent. He's not amazing, but he's decent. Overall, the Browns have a really talented roster. I think I'm still not overly impressed with Baker. I think if they really wanted to get serious, I even put them on our post of, like, if Aaron Rodgers was to be traded, I think the Browns need to make a call instantly. Because if you add Aaron Rodgers to that team, I think they probably become the favorite to win the AFC, in my opinion. That's how talented overall I think this roster is, which I know it's crazy because the Chiefs still exist, but They just have a lot of talent across the board, and we didn't even mention the two workhorses, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, and Kevin Stefanski and what he brings, and
Not really
the
good
offensive
offensive line.
line, yeah, who might be the best in the entire league.
Yeah.
So they're just a very talented team. Well, I think overall they can go as far as Baker will take them. And I think just with the talent they have, they can make it pretty far. They should make a playoff run. I think they can win this division. Not going to say 100% they will, because I think the Ravens are still very good. But overall, I think they're one of those teams that maybe they could make it to the AFC Championship game. But if they get to that point and it's the Chiefs, I don't think they're better than Kansas City yet. I still think that Andy Reid's the superior coach, Patrick Mahomes, just everything they have. But I think their peak right now to me could be like what Buffalo did last year.
Yeah.
And that's with, obviously, I think they have a much better roster than Buffalo, but they don't have Josh Allen. So Josh Allen, the quarterback difference is what evens it out to me.
Yeah, and I think just the Buffalo, I know their defense wasn't that great last year, but they're more of a creative, game plan specific defense as opposed to as opposed to Cleveland, going to play Seattle cover 3 for the most part. This is what we do. Doesn't matter what you do. This is what we're going to do. But yeah, like John mentioned, I mean, I love the additions on their defense. Clowney, Takk McKinley. I know Clowney's been in and out, but regardless, you got Takk McKinley as a good backup / rotational guy. They still have Myles Garrett, so those guys aren't to be asked to do too much, I feel. And then, I'm worried a little bit about their size defensive in terms of their interior D-line, but like we just mentioned, maybe they have a guy or two coming up that, could be more of their run stuffer. Regardless, I think Malik Jackson, especially on passing downs, can play defensive tackle. He can also kick to edge, defensive end, if an injury like to Clowney does come up. But yeah, in terms of their offense, I mean, I obviously think that they should be better. Now that they have a 1 year under this Stephen Stefanski system, get Odell back, integrate him into, get him used to the system too, because it seemed like him and Baker were not on the same page, on top of the fact that, they were all adjusting to the new system last year. So yeah, I mean, this team, I'm with John. This team should be a playoff contender, a serious contender, considering their roster talent. I think if they can, I think they can manage the game just enough so that it's not all on Baker's shoulders. And especially if their defense can take the next step, I think they can be a real contender. But once again, nothing's a guarantee. These are all ifs, and and Baker's been inconsistent. Let's just be honest. He had good rookie year, not a good sophomore year. Good year last year was his third year. Had a good year last year. Let's see if he can be consistent, which is one of the things that's it sounds easy, but it's what really makes the elite or the good elite players in general. Elite players in general, that's what makes them elite, is that they're consistent. So we'll see if Baker can take that step and be consistent, because he like Lamar is also in contract talks with the Browns. So that is the Cleveland Browns.